Let's not talk about January 6th attack and the FBI. I know that title might be a little bit strange, and I apologize. I am in the thick of it right now. I just wanted to put this out really quickly. A comment on something I think is very important that a lot of people understand as far as media and how they operate. A huge problem that we're having, it's now becoming a pattern now. So it's important that you guys are aware of it. So inspiration comes from stories coming from the wackos on Fox Opinion talking about FBI was involved and conspiracy stuff, false flag, whatever, being pushed also by right-wing publication. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about something else. And I want you to be aware of this thing, and with that knowledge, just keep that in mind when you see certain stories coming out. So, we're living in a very hyper-partisan era in this country. It's left versus right. The media are the ones effectively pulling the strings on that division. From these right-wing YouTubers, conservative commentators, to these left-wing YouTubers, each side claims that they're doing a good thing or whatever, and supposedly it's harmless what they're doing, but it's actually very destructive. Both sides. One side, I'll leave that to you to decide which side that is more destructive and dishonest than the other. But that's mainly because they're both doing the same thing. They're both basically essentially in bed with the corrupt politicians in both parties. Right-wing media with the Republicans, left-wing media with the Democrats. However, one particular party is significantly more corrupt than the other, which forces the media that protects them to also be more dishonest. So it's not that one side of the media is necessarily more honest than the other. Like, whichever party you feel is more corrupt, flip that. Reverse roles, make the other party the one that's more corrupt. Then the media that protects them would also be more corrupt. Right? You need to be as corrupt as the part of our two-party system that you're protecting. Right? So whichever side of the media decides to protect the most corrupt part of the media is going to be the most corrupt media. Again, don't fall into the trap of thinking that the media that seems to you to be more honest, that they're better people. I assure you they're not. It's just much easier for you to protect a less corrupt part of the government than to protect a more corrupt part of the government. But essentially, greed is at the root of this. So here's the thing that I wanted to talk about. So basically, on the right, there is a serious incentive to go after the left and attack the left, and anything that makes the left look bad is something that they are hungry for. As I've said before, they don't necessarily want to lie or put out misinformation. That is not the goal. The goal is to attack the left. It's an anti-liberal goal. So what this means is you have many people who are incentivized to find any dirt at all on the left. So they're looking, right? If you're constantly looking for something, you're more likely to find it. You will find it when it's actually not there, just due to confirmation bias. That's where some of the misinformation comes from. They have an inch and then they take a mile with it. You also, if there's actually something valid, right? Because you're looking for it, looking for dirt. If there's actually some legitimate dirt, you're going to also be the first one to find it. Now, On the left, in terms of liberal media and the people who consume that media, um, again, very tribalist, right? So people on the left are not out there aggressively looking for dirt on the left, right? And a lot of the narratives typically in this country fall into a left-right narrative. So if you look at the Capitol attack, if you're on the right, you want it to go away, you want it to be Antifa, you want to diminish it, right? So you seek things to support that. If you're on the left, you're horrified by it, and you see this association with the Trump base and things like that, and you are hungry for more information, finding out like who did this, how did it happen, and if it ties, the more it ties to Trump, the better, right? That's what you're looking for. So let's just say the FBI did something. They're somehow complicit. That's not something that you're going to be looking for. It's not something that you're going to be attracted to. But that puts sort of a blind spot for you. You have the other side actively looking for stuff like this. So if there's something there, they're the ones who are going to find it first. If there's nothing there, they're going to make something up. But the point is, they're the ones looking. Both sides should be looking objectively. You want to find out exactly what happened, who did what, right? But that's not how it's being looked at. Both sides are looking at this from a sort of a partisan lens in terms of a goal, right? The right wants to diminish and deflect. The left wants to sort of, this is kind of a vindication of like, look, see how bad these people are. Look at how bad Trump is, right? So that's what you're looking for. So you're going to find all the stuff that supports that. Meanwhile, the right is going to find anything potentially on the other side of that. So here's the final dynamic. If the right actually finds something that diminishes it, or like let's say FBI was involved or whatever, let's say that's actually true. The right they're going to be the ones to find it first because again they're looking for it. So if something untoward is going on with the FBI, the right is going to be the first ones to find it. And then it gets worse. So they'll be the first ones to find it. The left won't find it because the left's not looking for it. Then the right, by finding it, they will amplify it because like, great, we found something. They'll get amplified. And by amplifying it, that is essentially suppressing it on the left. The more that the right points out something like, hey, FBI might be involved, the less interest that the left is going to have in it. And it's going to automatically be conspiracy theory, blah, 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 right-wing propaganda, whatever. And part of that is because of all these dishonest, bad faith actors like Tucker Carlson. These guys always pushing misinformation and spinning things. And if they do actually find something that's legitimate, they're probably going to be greedy about it and stretch it into a whole different narrative, which makes it easy for the left to be like, oh, this is just right-wing propaganda. So I'm going to end this with this point. If you see the right talking about something that goes against your belief about something, like the January 6th attack, don't automatically dismiss it and just think it's right-wing propaganda. Don't trust what they're saying because a lot of them are dishonest actors and they don't care about the truth. They just care about being able to attack the left. So certainly don't give them much credibility. But if they're talking about something, just consider that either there's some truth there or no truth there. But it's your job to actually do the investigation yourself and to see if there's actually something. But if you're just going to dismiss anything that they're saying, you have a huge blind spot. Because again, they don't want to lie. They want to attack. And the truth is better than a lie when it comes to attacks. So if they actually find some dirt, they're going to be all over it. Right? Same thing with the lab leak situation. Right? There is this dynamic where if it comes from the right, it's automatically dismissed by the left, and the left-wing media jumps on board as well. This is a massive blind spot, and it is very, very dangerous. Don't worry about who's saying what. Worry about what is being said. And again, keep in mind, and both sides have a tendency to do these kinds of things. If they find an inch, they'll go a mile with it. Take a look at the inch. Identify the inch and see if the inch is legitimate. And then go from there and investigate on your own and see how far it goes. So That's all I have on that. You guys have any thoughts? Comment and let me know. Just be careful. Get out of your bubbles. Conservatives and liberals, get out of your bubbles. Don't automatically dismiss things that's coming from people that have a different ideology than you do. Both sides don't really want to lie. They want to attack, right? That's the partisan way. If you can find any dirt on Trump, that is just awesome for people on the left. See, I told you. So that means it's easy to mislead the left. You can pretty much anything that's like dirt on Trump, they will automatically eat it all up. So bad faith actors can actually use that to their advantage to manipulate the narrative. It's pretty easy, right? That's what they want to hear. Same thing on the right. If you want to change the narrative, it's very easy to manipulate the right. Like if you put something out there that says like, hey, Antifa is the ones who did January 6th, the standard of evidence is very low for them. They will eat that up, right? That makes both sides very, very vulnerable. Don't fall for it, right? Know that your political opponents don't want to lie. They want to win. They want to attack. So what they're saying, whether it's liberals saying stuff or conservatives saying stuff, is not necessarily a lie, right? The point is that it is a vector for them to attack you. It is for you to actually look into claims made and see what the truth is. However, be careful. A lot of people, they try to do that, but then they look to the media. You cannot trust the media, right? Because they will be in lockstep with this. So if the right actually finds something legitimate about January 6th, the left-wing media is going to quote-unquote debunk it, right? Whether it's a valid debunking or not. So be careful of that. Same thing with right-wing media, right? So you have to do your own independent research because it ultimately we don't have much of a functioning media in this country. It's an unfortunate reality. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching.